All right, welcome to my favorite time of the month. You all know what time of the month it is. That's right, it is committee reaction time. I knew it would come sooner or later, right? Right? Okay, so it is a little bit earlier this month because of Veterans Day, because of Thanksgiving. And, of course, oddly enough, how we have a meeting on a Tuesday. How odd is that? But thankfully, the next reaction video will be scheduled for Monday, December 16th. But, of course, today we date it as November 12th, 2019. Once again, it is Tuesday. Now, we're going to get started with what we do best every month. So, first up, let's react to our fellow colleagues, Jason Anthony and Matt Camper. Now, first of all, I gotta show you something that was a little bit interesting today. So let's just put a still image of Murray on your screen right now. So here's Murray Bowden, and Murray was all giddy today. I noticed that from him. Even when I was sitting near him today at Bridges and Tunnels and Finance, he was so giddy today. I've never seen Murray so giddy before in his lifetime, but apparently, trust me, you could look at yourself and say, Andy, you're not making any sense. This man clearly doesn't look like he's happy. Well, he is happy. Just trust me. Just trust me, okay? But on a serious note, I want to let you all know, if I do start coughing while I react, please note that I am still coming off a cold. I'm hoping stupid cough will be done by the end of the week, because I need to be loud as it is for when I see St. John's with Matt at Cornerseca this weekend. So, yeah. So let's get into this. So, this lady spoke for 5 minutes. And here's the ironic thing. Matt was supposed to be up next, and we will play Matt's comment in just a second. But this lady spoke for 5 minutes. Now, let's keep in mind here that at New Jersey Transit, you get to speak for 5 minutes. And by the way, I will mention, tomorrow, New Jersey Transit is having their meeting in Newark. Go figure. Go figure that one out. And Pine Power LI has also brought this up before, is that Metro North, they always get to seem like it's talking for way too long. Way too long. And I'm also going to present to you something that kind of made me angry with President Rinaldi's report this morning for Metro North regarding a very busy station along the Hudson line. So I think we're going to get to Matt if we can find him. Now look what I'm about to show you guys. Look what I'm about to show you guys. Look how long this lady got to speak for. This is ridiculous. How long does this lady get to speak? You know? Makes me mad. Alright. So, before I really lose a gasket, let's get to Matt's comment.
Good morning, Joint Metro North LIRR Committee. My name is Matt Camper, and I'm an advocate for the MTA and an LIRR rider. I'm here this morning to share with you a suggestion that will help ease the commute for weekend LIRR riders along the main line, and will help not just for the main line, but also for the Babylon branch. As you all have been hearing about from some other people, the main line of the LIRR, which is the busiest on the entire LIRR system, is undergoing the third track project, which will add a third track between Hicksville and Floral Park. But because of that project, there have been endless amount of weekends this year alone that the main line has been down, with no shuttle buses being provided, forcing people to have to either take the Hempstead branch or the Babylon branch just to get to New York City. I have a suggestion that will really help when it comes to helping the mainline riders, and also save them travel time by up to 40 minutes a day. And that is, the first one would be to have shuttle buses running between Hicksville and Belmore which you would go down New Bridge Road, all the way down to Sunrise Highway, and then you make a left onto Sunrise Highway and take customers to Belmore, and people could get off the bus at Belmore and then take a train from Belmore to Penn Station, Lantern, Brooklyn, or Jamaica, wherever you need to go. And the second suggestion I have is to have local buses run between Floral Park and Hicksville for those who are at local stops such as Merlin Avenue, New Hyde Park, Call Place, and Westbury, also Mineola. I hope you can take these suggestions. You keep the 3 trains an hour and also increase the service on the Hempstead branch as you've been doing now. That's my suggestion. I hope you can take this suggestion into serious consideration to help ease the travel times of my fellow riders on the mainland. Thank you so much.
So again, that was Matt. Now, I will agree with him on this. I never thought of it like this before, but yeah. I think there should be busing between Belmore and Hicksville. It absolutely makes complete sense. Think about it. If Queens Village is able to lend out their buses, it makes complete sense. Think about it. I know this very well about Long Island, okay? If you were able to run a bus down from 106, 107, right? It makes complete sense. You could just have the bus go down Newbridge Road. Okay, it'll cut through East Meadow. Fine. But it's not that much of East Meadow the bus has to go through, because once you get past Hempstead Turnpike, boom, you're already in the northern part of Belmore. And then you take 106 south past the Southern State, and boom. I never thought of it like that before. That makes complete sense. Matt was very spot on about that. And let's see if I can get some of the captions from Matt's speech here. Okay, let's see. So I'll just play it back while Matt's speaking after Belmore, because I want to play it back again.
New Hyde Park, Call Place, and Westbury, also Mineola. I hope you can take these suggestions.
Oh, okay. So Matt was also suggesting that they should also include busing for people who want to get between Floral Park and Mineola. Now, here's what I think they should do. And I think Matt was trying to say it like this. There should also be busing. And this should be applied in January. Because think about it. Hopefully we don't get double-crossed again. Like they lied to that customer on Twitter. And they say, well, you should expect no more disruptions. And honestly, again, this is one of the busiest times of the year for the Long Island Railroad, next to the summer. Okay? Because you have people who want to go sightseeing in Manhattan for the holiday sites. And you can't just impact people along the main line. And I'm very pleased that President Ng announced that December 7th, I think it was December 7th. Yeah, because I know I have an event to attend with Matt on that date in Mineola. But December 7th, I know for a fact that that's Saturday. And President Ng today said, we will have the holiday train. So that's more transparent. Okay, that's transparency at its finest. So, let's hope that this is the last weekend of mainline shutdowns. Because fine, if they want to resume it in January, I have no problem with that. Do it in January. I don't care. Matt shouldn't care. The only person I think that would be mad would be Pine Power LI, but still. I know right now, I don't even know what I'm doing in January. Like, January's so uncertain for me right now, but you know, Matt brought some very valid points today. You know, it makes sense that you want to run trains. No, not run train, run buses that go from Belmore to Hicksville, which I think point A to point B would make more sense. And then let's say you're coming from Belmore, you want to take the bus to Hicksville, and let's say you want to get along the Port Jefferson line or the Ronkonkoma line. Okay. Makes sense. Just like how, okay, at least if you're going to get people from Westbury to Floral Park, alright, fine. Not the end of the world. But I still think the N22 and the N24 should be cross-honored. Okay, it doesn't run 24 hours. But what's the alternative plan? Again, they have a contract with Transdev. That's the whole point of the contract, to have Nice Bus cross-honor at least. And again, if you're going to have that busway between Belmore and Hicksville, again, I have to say it, the Queens Village Bus Depot should be lending their buses out to Long Island. Or College Point. Same at College Point. Suspend some of the express buses on the QM1, the QM5, the QM6. Send those buses out to Hicksville. At least put people on coach buses. Hell, at this point, I want to see the cheese at this point. Maybe even contact the school buses. Yeah. Think about it. You're not going that far. You're not going on a highway. The bus can do 40 miles an hour. I'm sure there's buses all the time that take kids along Newbridge Road that go between Belmore and East Meadow. So that would be another good idea. I think that would be a good alternative. Okay, so I'm done making my point here. So now we're going to talk about Mr. Jason Anthony. Yes, not the P anymore. We're not going to say the last name that he originally went by. Just Jason Anthony. So thank goodness that confusion's out of the way, but he still went by that name today, so everybody needs to get the heads up that it's not Jason Pinero anymore, it's Jason Anthony. I even teased him about it today, but he was fine with it. Alright, so we're going to get to Jason Anthony's comments in just a second. So, let's get right to it.
Good morning. Like my fellow speakers said, we need more service on the main line. At least we got some good news this month, but we want more good news, more positive news that could ease the weekend nightmare for those who rely on the LIRR. And as a regular rider on the LIRR, I experience delays. I experience cancellations. So we could use that as an example to be a better entity, to do things better for the future. And Phil, I hope that we could have Wi-Fi on the M9s. They're running perfectly. They have that new train smell. But I hope that we could have at least Wi-Fi in those trains, that we could use the internet while we are commuting. So that's all for this month.
Alright, so once again, that was the surname, Jason Anthony, his legal name now. Talking about the M9 train. Now, I have ridden on the M9, round trip from Long Beach to Jamaica. It is very smooth. I will admit that. And noting the fact that Wi-Fi, again, that is a controversial issue. I don't know if we'll ever get it. I mean, personally, that would be something I would want to wish for, but that's not going to happen anytime soon the way things are looking. Unless maybe the M9A will have it. I don't know. But I will admit this. Jason made some very valid points today about the M9 train. And also, let's just quickly rewind back on the captions for Jason. Jason didn't speak that long today. And of course, he briefly mentioned the fact about the main line being shut down, but still, all I'm going to say is everything was just abbreviated today, it felt like, except NYCT. That didn't feel abbreviated. That went on for 2 hours, which it should be. So I think we're going to get right into it. We're going to talk about NYCT. And also, I'll quickly mention, an old colleague of ours came back. That's right. Finley Staub was present today, which I was shocked to see him. And also, Omar Vera was president finance as well. So I'll quickly mention that. And again, we're not really going to get into Yuki's comments, but we'll fast forward to Matt Camper. So let's see if we can play him. Okay, let's see. This is what I hate about this computer sometimes. There we go. So now we'll watch Matt Camper's comment from NYCT.
Good morning, Transit and Bus Committee. My name is Matt Camper, and I'm an advocate for the MTA. This morning, I'm here to talk about the action item in regards to the station closure policy that Sarah Meyer is proposing this morning. I am in full favor of this proposal, as I feel it is a good way for transit riders to have enough time of a month, 30 days, to be able to plan ahead and change around whatever, they are, if their station is closing, be able to figure out an alternative route that best suits them. It's a win-win for everybody, and I feel big thanks goes to Sarah, to Andy, and the entire New York City Transit team for coming up with this. I feel it's going to be a great thing for everyone, and I hope that the transit riders will be thrilled with this news, and hopefully this does pass. So that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So once again, that was Matt. Not really going to comment that much. He was just talking about not procurement, but an item related to the agenda that Chairwoman Sarah Feinberg was going to present at the meeting. And obviously, if I were discussing, and I still would have talked about air conditioning in the subway today, which we will get to that. We will get to that. But now we're going to talk about Jason Anthony's comment at NYCT. And you noticed that it's not Joseph. That's actually my grandfather's name from my dad's side, by the way. Just going a little personal. But let's watch Mr. Anthony's comment.
Our next speaker is Joseph Pinero, followed by Jean Ryan.
Epic fail is Jason.
Apologies.
It's not Joseph. Jason.
Apologies.
Good morning, Sarah. I sent you via Twitter some images of people doing fare evasion at J Street Metro Tech. And also I sent you last night an interesting article of something that SEPTA is doing regarding fare evasion. It's very interesting. I read the article and it's very excellent. So it's something that we could use to lower the fare evasion at one of my, let's say, stations, that is J Street Metro Tech. And also, like Matt Camper mentioned, I'm in full support of Sarah Meyer's plan. When we do works in the stations, we should get notified, like, for instance, a month or 2 months in advance. And Andy, from now on, you're called Super A. Why? Because you are the most admirable person in the entire MTA system. You make wonders. And like I said last month, we don't want you to leave because you have demonstrated in the whole 29 years that you have in experience that you are up for challenge. and you're gonna modernize our subway top to bottom. And I would want to thank you for that, Andy. And you have all my support all the way down. So that's all that I have for this month.
So, once again, that was my fellow colleague, Jason Anthony, discussing praise for Andy Byford. It's very good. And he also talked about fare evasion at J Street Metro Tech. Now, I will quickly discuss something very important today that I was able to discuss with MTA police. I know I had the lady's card. I just have to find my wallet. I do have it. Oh, here's my wallet. It was right here all this time. So, today I was able to speak with with a member of the MTA Police Department. I have her name somewhere. I just have to find her card. Oh, I hope I didn't lose the card. That would be embarrassing. If that's the case, then I gotta look it up in the future. Ay, ay, ay. That's embarrassing to lose a very important card. Yep, I don't have the card. Epic fail on my part. But I know it was a female cop who I did speak to today. Oh, never mind. I got her name. So her name is Christine Bastenbeck. That's her name. Christine Bastenbeck. So I did mention to her today, she is the inspector. So she pretty much works with Chief Ed De La Torre for the NYPD Transit Division. So, pretty much, this is for the NYPD Transit Division. I do apologize on that end if I didn't get that correct. Do apologize, but I did show her a picture of the panhandler who has been at Kew Gardens Union Turnpike since January, and I did send out a very, very suggestive tweet. And I sincerely want to apologize for that this morning. My emotions just got to the best of me. But I did speak to Officer Bastenbeck, who, again, is an inspector for the Transit Bureau. And they are hopefully going to do something about this panhandler. I think, honestly, all I want to see is just him gone. Like, I don't care what happens at this point. That's how cold-hearted I am. I don't really care. I just want him gone. Bye. Leave everybody alone. Alright? Because this guy apparently is one smart cookie. I want to praise this guy in a way for panhandling smartly in a way. Because he knows for the fact that when people get off the Q46, this guy is pretty clever. I will admit that. But at the same time, panhandling is illegal. So, I just don't want to see him again. And also I'll mention, there was this guy in a red jacket today. Not a guardian angel. But there was a guy singing on the Jamaica-bound platform at Kew Gardens Union Turnpike today. He got on the F train, and he was just singing. So again, it just proves the point. It just proves the point. You know, I literally am upset. You know? And trust me, this is the last time I'm ever bringing it up. Because I'm done talking about that man. Alright? He's been there since January. And I would suggest for public safety, if this guy gets into a scuffle with you, call the police. That would be my recommendation. And if you're scared to call the police, my other recommendation would be to use the Forest Hill 75th Avenue train station, which is not that far from where that area is. I know for a fact that I am planning a summit there next month. I have a tentative date. Again, I don't want to give out plans because I actually read in my horoscope today for Metro that it's not a good idea for a Scorpio. And yes, it was my birthday on Friday. Just reminding everybody, and Jason did give me a present today. But I shouldn't be giving out plans that much anymore. That's the bottom line. But if I have any other issues, I will let Officer Bemendick know what's going on, because I just don't want to bug her about this anymore. If I see something else in the system, I'm going to report it, of course, to Officer Della Torre or Officer Bemendick. So I will let them know. See something, say something. If it's somewhere else. So now that we're done with that, and we get that out of the way, we're now going to move on to bridges and tunnels. So, like my dad. I do apologize about that. That's me, but let's get into my speech about the Henry Hudson Bridge. Last month, I couldn't attend this committee because it started early. I was having lunch at Wendy's on Nassau Street. But I rushed from Day Street just to get here. So, normally, I don't ever attend this committee. But when I see an issue with an MTA bridge that needs to be addressed, particularly from my dad, I have to bring it up to everybody here. So, this is an issue that happened back on September 29th. This was right around Rosh Hashanah. So, my dad surprised us. We went to take a surprise trip to Maryland. Now, we were using an alternative route to use the Henry Hudson Bridge. Now, this was an issue that I noticed as soon as we were getting into Manhattan from Riverdale in the Bronx. And it said, and I quote, this is an automated sign, "Water above. Please use caution." Now, I am very familiar with this bridge. I know for a fact, lower level, you have the direction going into Manhattan. Upper level, Riverdale in the Bronx. Now, I find it odd how water was spilling onto my dad's 2007 Chevy Tahoe. Now, this is a concern for the winter months, especially today, because as I'm walking down here, I noticed it was snowing, and the problem is with the water, it can turn into ice. So, whatever water is being used, it needs to be dispersed of during the winter months. If you want to use it in the spring, summer, fine, I don't care. Just make sure that the roadway isn't icy, because if it's icy, you're going to see accidents, and then motorists are going to have high repair bills just like my dad. So I hope this issue regarding the Henry Hudson Bridge can be addressed and reevaluated. So once again, that was my comments from Bridges and Tunnels. And again, that was the first time I ever got to speak. I've normally have attended, and I normally do just pay attention to the meetings most case when I get there early enough to sign up for finance to speak. But I couldn't stay silent. When I see something off with an MTA bridge, I'm going to talk about it whenever I go to Delmarva. Now, in this case, I didn't go to Delmarva. I actually went outside of the Baltimore metropolitan region. I'm not going to say where I specifically went for the night, because I had to go into Delaware the next day, but I will go on the record and say this. It's not right. I'm trying to look out for other motorists who use the Henry Hudson Bridge maybe every day, every week, every month, or every other few months. Especially how the reason why we were on the Henry Hudson Bridge was because we needed to beat the traffic on the Buckner and the Cross Bronx. That's why we did that. That's why we went to the local streets of the Bronx just to get to the Henry Hudson Bridge. I'm trying to look out for everyone. Especially for my dad's sake. Do you think my dad wants to waste thousands of dollars on water seeping into his truck? No! Absolutely not! especially other motorists. It's thousands of dollars wasted because the MTA couldn't figure it out with the Henry Hudson Bridge. And also, let's fast forward to something very important. I'm not even going to play the part. If I can find it. I'm trying to see if I can... No, I can't find it. I wanted to show Kevin Law right here. This is something that made me angry today. So they were voting on a very important procurement for a construction contract for the Throgs Neck Bridge that's scheduled to start next year in 2020. Kevin Law said, "Ooh, I need to recuse myself from voting." How cold-hearted is this man? And by the way, I never praise Larry Shorts, but thank goodness Larry was an aye vote on this procurement. Because if he wasn't an aye vote, I would have a bone to pick with him too. But Larry, you deserve an applause. So, this is for you, Larry. Alright? Oh boy, I'm sorry. I had to get it out of my system, but we will get to my colleagues at CPOC at the very end of this video. But we are going to get right into finance. And also, I'll quickly mention something about Larry that I know about him very well back in July when I first started attending these meetings. He actually uses the Throgs Neck and Whitestone Bridge a lot. So, that's why I would, like, honestly, I know Pine Power LI and other people have problems with Larry Shorts, but here's the thing. I would be upset if Larry Shorts left the MTA. Because he's a very vocal advocate for the Whitestone and Throgs Neck Bridge. So, that's very important to me. Because those bridges are used by my dad a lot when we travel to and from Maryland. By the way, I'll quickly mention, I actually went first today because what happened was, right when transit was ending around 12:30, I directly came from the World Trade Center, so many of you know I normally take the E train to get down to Lower Manhattan lately, and there's a exit from the Oculus of the World Trade Center that connects me right to Broadway and John Street, and I know this for a fact that my normal routine is to walk on John Street, then go on to Nassau Street, make a left and go to Wendy's, and then come back after to go to the MTA building. But I didn't have time today because I wanted to make sure I could speak at Bridges and Tunnels. So, keep that in mind. So, we're going to get right to me and my comments. I forgot I signed up first. Right. So, we're all not doing so well, huh? Sarah's coming off a cold, I'm coming off a cold, and Larry's still in the neck brace. Well, let's stick to the agenda. First of all, I was watching Metro North this morning, and President Rinaldi gave a very good report. However, I want to mention that I would like to hear about more station ambassadors at Yonkers, because it is a very busy station on the Hudson line, and I feel that Yonkers should be getting enough attention as what President Rinaldi brought up earlier this morning. Now, one other thing I want to bring up. This morning, I was on the E train. I didn't have any heat in the car this morning, 9169. I was very annoyed when I felt the vent. It was blowing out cold air. So please make sure by tonight the heat is on, because it is going to be record low tonight, 22. Supposed to high, record low tonight, and the real feel is going to be in the single digits. But my main point I want to bring up is Merlon Avenue. I want to thank everybody who has reached out to me on Twitter at Andy's Randomness regarding Merlon Avenue's situation with the parking lot. Now, I am very familiar with both Merlon Avenue and New Hyde Park. And recently in New Hyde Park, there has been an issue where there was construction. And it took away the parking spaces in front of the station house. So where have people ended up going? Merlon Avenue, of course. And I've been getting complaints from people that the lighting is not accurate in the parking lot. And one person even reached out to me saying they almost fell because it was so dark. So I'm hoping that the lighting in the parking lot at Merlon Avenue can improve, because one day you could have a safety hazard, and that will not be a good thing. So, thank you very much. Alright, so everything jammed into 2 minutes. If you were curious about Sarah Feinberg, she had mentioned this morning at Transit that she was coming off a cold. And I did notice when she was calling the meeting this morning about my horse. She has a hoarse throat, of course. And thankfully for me, it's only a dry throat. I don't have a hoarse throat, but my throat doesn't hurt me. It's just dry cough, but that's what happens with post-nasal drip. My God. But Larry has been in a neck brace since October. So I hope he'll come out of it. And I also mentioned that I was very pleased to see Dr. Metzner did come back today. So it's good to see Susan at least present. But I will say this. I had to get my points clear about 3 things. Number 1. Very important. Yonkers, once again, it seems that most of us do not understand that it is the busiest station along the Hudson line of Metro North. And President Rinaldi this morning was saying, we need to have station ambassadors at other stations. Okay, at least White Plains on the Harlem line, which is just as busy as Yonkers on the Hudson line, is getting station ambassadors. Okay. And at least Fordham is getting some respect. Well, admit that. And I think she mentioned Largemont's getting ambassadors. I'll have to replay that part of the presentation, but still, I wish more people could speak up about Yonkers getting station ambassadors. That would be one thing that needs to be respected upon. Oh, and one thing, I'm sure Orrin Getz is going to be speaking at New Jersey Transit tomorrow in Newark. I bet he will be there. Because trust me, if I was going to New Jersey Transit tomorrow, you know I would be venting to Kevin Corbett about canceled trains. Because this morning, 4 more trains were canceled during AM peak on NJT this morning. Also, let's talk about something very important tonight. Let's talk about the weather. Now, normally during these videos, I don't like to talk about the weather. 26 degrees. Now, I heard on Channel 7 earlier that it's going to be temperatures in the 20s tonight. Look at the real feel as of 5 o'clock. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. Let me continue with my ad blocker. Thank you. Okay. So let's take a look at this. Look at this. 24 degrees. Okay? There was no need for air conditioning in the subway today. I took the E train to and from Queens today. Okay? I was annoyed that there was no heat. Why wasn't there any heat? Ridiculous. Let's get an hourly forecast. 24 degrees tonight. That's very cold. Don't you all think that there should be heat? And by the way, I gotta put the heat on in my room because it's starting to get cold in here. Look at this. Look at this. Real feel. 14 degrees. And also I'll mention, when I was walking on Broadway from Day Street, guess what? There were flurries at 12:30 in the afternoon. Folks, I'm letting you know right now, please, if you're on the subway tonight, please, let NYCT Subway know on Twitter. Complain to them. Alright? If you can get near the vent, please try to get near the vent. I did that today. And I noticed there was cold air coming out of the vent. That's very unacceptable on a day like this. That there should have been heat. So I think when I play my colleagues' video, I will just put the heat on in my room because it's really getting cold in here. My God. So let's get to Jason Anthony's comment. And we'll discuss fare evasion right after.
Hi, Larry. I hope that you are feeling better. Let's see what I'm gonna talk about. Let's say yesterday was Veterans Day. And those veterans who depend on the system don't have a discount. Just like HP Schroeder brings it every single month doing the full board, why not take off our budget 2 cents and separate it for our veterans? Despite the fact that yesterday we honored them for their service, but we should honor for their service every single day. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You know, Larry, we saw an event near my neck of the woods in downtown Brooklyn. 1,000 people jumped a turnstile at Hoyt Skimmelhorn. How much money we lost there, we don't know. But Philadelphia has a solution to that. And that's something that we could take a look at. And I know that you mean money and spend it wisely, but why not look outside the box? Look what other entities are doing to reduce spending, overspending. Keep things within budget or under budget to see if we could get out of the hole. And I think that we should get out of the hole as soon as possible. So I'll see you guys later at CPOC.
Thank you. Our next speaker.
Alright, so once again, that was Jason Anthony discussing fare evasion. Now, it is a very delicate topic that I want to get into. I will mention that this morning I did witness fare evasion on the Q46. There was this man and woman who got on at Springfield Boulevard this morning, and they only had dollar bills. The bus driver let the couple on the bus. I find that very unacceptable that the driver didn't let them notify them that they need a Metro card or they need an exact change. So I did witness fare evasion this morning. And again, I've noticed a lot of fare evasion on the Q46 this year. I have noticed it. Like in previous years, from 2015 to 2018, I didn't notice that much fare evasion. And especially when I was hired by Northwell Health in the summer of 2015, once I started my position in cancer registry, I noticed every month no fare evasion from that time frame. And especially how I think this goes back to maybe the spring. I noticed a lot more of the patients from Creedmoor were getting on the Q46 off-peak. Now, especially how I work a 4-hour shift, 2 days a week. This week only counts for 1 day because I had to go to the meeting today. And the fact that I've noticed this a lot. I don't know why they're letting the people from Creedmoor get on the bus. Which is ridiculous. And they are the ones fare evading. The drivers just let them on. I find that ridiculous that I blame some of the drivers for fare evasion too. And I get annoyed about it. I get annoyed that my 135 doesn't mean diddly squat when I take the subway and when I take the bus to these people. Round trip today, I only paid $275. Round trip. That's a big difference there. It's an insult. And then Jason was talking about J Street Metro Tech. Jason's been notifying me that lately. And then, last week, no, 2 weeks ago, back on November 1st, in downtown Brooklyn, we had a protest regarding an incident with a scuffle at J Street Metro Tech. We had protesters, 1,000 exact plus people, go past the turnstile at Hoyt-Skimmerhorn Street. The same station that I advocated for to get elevators. And the same station that Omar Vera did the same thing. And, I never mentioned it before, the same station that was used for the 1987 music video, Michael Jackson Bad. So think about that. Think about that. Philadelphia does have a solution, it seems. I want to know what SEPTA's trying to do. Because now Jason's got me intrigued. And another thing. SEPTA approved their budget last month. SEPTA doesn't even live stream their meetings. And that's what I also noticed with MTA in Maryland. They don't live stream their meetings. Unlike the MTA here in New York. MTA here in New York is Metropolitan Transportation Authority. MTA in Maryland is Maryland Transportation Authority. And MARC is a dedicated rail line throughout the state of Maryland. Sorry to ramble on about that, but you all get my point. Now, I brought up Finley Staub earlier. I want to see if I can find him. Let's see if he's here. Trying to fast forward it. If I can find him. Because I know what shirt he was wearing today. If I can't. Here he is. Here's Finley. I do apologize if I didn't play his reaction from NYCT earlier. So we will watch Finley Staub's comment from this morning.
Good morning, MTA committee. Great to be back after a couple of months of being busy with things. Let's get started, shall we? Over the past couple of weeks, and the NYCT Transit Police Department has been facing a lot of heat. First, let's talk about the Franklin Avenue incident. In this incident, the NYCT Transit Police Department had drawn guns on a black individual on a train for apparently, quote-unquote, evading the fare, but had a gun on his person. He then gave himself up to the police without a fight and then was swiftly arrested by officers. What came out of it was a lot of backlash on Twitter about the incident, as well as a protest at Hoyt-Schermerhorn Streets station on the A, C, and G lines. This protest brought out an outstanding increase of fare evasion at the station during this protest. Another incident occurred during the weekend at Broadway Junction Station, which also involved the NYCT Transit Police Department. Apparently, officers at the station arrested a Latin American woman for selling churros in the station without a permit. This woman have been given 10 past court summonses. This woman did not deserve this kind of treatment and didn't need it. Officers could have handled this problem in a civil way, but apparently they didn't. This incident also brought out a ton of backlash on Twitter. Apparently, the MTA transitioned from arresting fare beaters to arresting churro sellers. This is so freaking outrageous and this needs to be dealt with ASAP. What us commuters want from the committee is more fair treatment from the NYCT Transit Police Department and to not over-police these churro sellers, but to go after fare evaders since they're a #1 priority to the police department right now. Everyone who uses the MTA deserves equal treatment, regardless of race, religion, or gender. Also, please expand access to right and accessibility in the system. People need it desperately. Thank you.
All right, so once again, that is an old colleague of ours, Finley Staub, who does occasionally attend MTA meetings. So it's good to see him back, just like Omar Vera today, which we will get to him. And Finley made very valid points today, is that this increased police presence might have a negative backlash, and I completely agree. There have been 3 reported incidents, and then Finley made a very good point about the Spanish lady who was selling the churros at Broadway Junction over the weekend. Today, I read in both Metro and AM New York, and by the way, I'm going to bash Metro. Metro only had like a small section regarding the churro seller. AM New York had a full-page article today. So that's crazy. That's insanity right there. Because I was able to read the papers while I was on the E-train today, so I had a lot of time to read. And, you know, there's definitely going to be consequences, I think. And, you know, with Yanaz Rodriguez, I feel that he made a good point yesterday that, you know, some of the laws do need to be changed. I don't know how that would work out, but first of all, I'm hoping that lady is not illegally here in the country, because if that's the case, I wish her luck with ICE, because that is going to really be difficult, you know? And then an immigration judge is going to have to say, well, you were doing something illegal here, and the fact that you're also illegally here in the country, potentially, we don't know that. I really hope not. That, you know, you may have to leave the United States, which I hope this lady doesn't have to. That's why I believe in second chances. You know? Or some cases third chance. Like this lady. They say 10 summonses. But everyone deserves to have a fair chance, don't they? And I also mentioned something here today. Guess what? DACA is ending. Yep. So, this is going to be very controversial. Okay. So now we're going to get right into Matt Camper's comments.
Good afternoon, members of the Finance Committee. My name is Matt Camper, and I'm an advocate for the MTA and along with an LIRR rider. This afternoon, there is something that I want to address, and that is regarding the LIRR with the temporary platforms that occur at Kew Gardens, Forest Hills, Woodside, Hollis, Queens Village, and along with Hillside support facilities for railroad employees only. I've been noticing, especially at Kew Gardens and Forest Hills lately, and Hillside support facilities, that people have to be in the first car, first door, just to get off the train onto the temporary platforms and even onto the train, which causes overcrowding conditions in the front of the train, and it's just outrageous that I don't see that. I understand it used to be where they had, I think it was something like the first car, something like that, and I feel that something needs to be done about this. I feel that it's time that you guys look into the possibility of looking into getting more temporary platforms, even if it means spending more money to get them. I am in favor of that. I feel it is very important that us as LIRR riders be able to more spread out. And even a suggestion I have is have the first two cars. It would be much easier than having people cram into one car just to get off a train. And that would be my suggestion. I really would like to see something like that in the future. And if you could please look into that, that would be really much appreciated for me and my fellow riders. So that's it. Thank you so much.
So that was Matt Camper once again. So I completely agree with him on the temporary platform situation. Metro North seems to get it right when they use bridge plates. I saw it at Fordham this past summer. And it just makes a lot more sense what Metro North does than the Long Island Railroad. Now does it? So, we're almost done here, it looks like. So let's just rewind the tape. I'm going to get to CPAC. Okay, we'll get to CPAC. Now, one thing I need to note regarding CPAC today. Chairman Foy was not present today, and I knew he wasn't going to be present because he was testifying to the New York State Assembly today at 250 Broadway regarding other MTA matters, but he will be present on Thursday for the full board meeting. So if anybody wants to call him out, you can do that on Thursday. So we're going to get right to Jason Anthony's comments from CPAC.
Is very happy to see that we're gonna hear a report from the architect of Omni on Poultry. I'm very happy to see an update because we don't need to be swiping and have a fail every time. Now it's tap and go, just like in DC, Boston, Philly, Chicago, almost everywhere. So I'm delighted to hear the report. And I'll see you guys on Thursday.
Alright, so that was Jason quickly remarking about the presentation for Omni. I will, in fact, put the presentation up here on Andy's Randomness tomorrow morning. I'm going to rip this video and definitely get to one to share tonight and edit that part so you all can see it on tomorrow morning. I'm aiming for an 8 a.m. upload time. If not, it may be later by around 10 or 11 o'clock, maybe noon, depending on how the editing process would play out tonight. Hopefully it'll play out good, but I know tomorrow will be easier because I'm at Osnum, so I don't have to be in Auburndale till around 11 o'clock, so that definitely plays in my favor. But we'll see if Matt did speak. Let's see if Matt did speak. Okay, good. Matt did speak. Anybody else notable? Okay, good. So I think we'll wrap it up with Matt's comment. I'll react to Matt's comment, and then I will wrap up this month's reaction video.
Good afternoon, members of the CPAC committee. First of all, I want to mention it's LIRR related, but Floral Park, it is miserable. The railings, the platform, just everything in the station looks horrible, and the station looks just so out to date. And it looks, as I explain it, like the old Hicksville station before it was renovated, which looks so much better than it used to. And I feel that Floral Park needs to get the attention. It needs to get the renovation that it deserves. And I'm going to call it a transformation. Floral Park needs that transformation. I feel that is something that you guys need to look into as part of the next capital plan, which is 2020 to 2024. Second of all, I'm really looking forward to hearing an update on Omni. One Metro New York. It is something that is well overdue, and as a rider of the system every single day, including the Long Island Railroad, I really just love what you guys are doing with Omni, and really looking forward one day to definitely using it within the next few years. So looking forward to it, and that's it. Thank you so much.
All right, so that was Matt talking about Floral Park. Completely agree. Again, please watch my summit regarding Floral Park, because that is very important that you understand what Matt is talking about, because I went to Floral Park earlier this year, and I completely agree with him. That station desperately needs a renovation. The railings, I feel the railing is the most dangerous thing, because if a little kid gets underneath the railing, they could fall onto the street by Tulip Avenue, and that's not safe. And they need to fix that. They need to fix the concrete. They need to fix everything. That station just needs a lot of tender, loving care right now. That's the term I want to use. And I'm glad Matt spoke up about that. And I completely agree. Hicksville definitely looked like a dump years ago. Okay? It looked miserable. The old Hicksville train station was just depressing, just like Floral Park currently is. And I feel if we're going to enter a new decade into transformation, at least President Ng did mention that Floral Park is going to get an elevator. Good. Good. If that's the case, I'll definitely do a 2.0. If there's ever a full renovation, there might even be a 3.0. I definitely would like to revisit stations that get renovated in the future. That's definitely no question. But let's keep in mind one thing here. Would they want to change things up? But the current budget plan? Maybe. Maybe. We'll see how that ends up. And again, Omni, I will work on that. I'll have a video up from the presentation tomorrow so you all can see that, because I feel that you, the audience, has every right to see that. I can confirm with Jason that they are, in fact, going to put the Omni reader starting next month at 34th Street Penn Station along the A, C, and E line, and at Jamaica, Suffolk Boulevard, Archer Avenue, along the E, J, and C line. And I also can confirm that they are in the planning stage of, in fact, putting Omni at Kew Gardens Union Turnpike sometime around next year or in 2021. So that is a good sign that we will be seeing Omni at Kew Gardens Union Turnpike sooner or later. So I think with that, that's going to wrap up this video. So thank you all very much for watching. And until the next one, please take care.
Good afternoon, MTA Finance Committee. It's the first time talking here in a while. So let's get to business, shall we? Let's talk about those fares. Those fares again are way too high. Instead, we need to lower it back down to $2, the way it was prior to 2009. That's $2 is a fair deal. But the reason why you keep doing this every 2 years is simple, because the state politicians and the municipal politicians, all they like to do is leech money from you guys and fund their own pet projects, like the corrupt Sheldon Silver's Fulton Center. That was his idea, but he leached too much money out of you guys for that. And that's of course a major reason why service has been abysmal, beyond abysmal. True, you're making some improvements since 2017, but make no mistake, 2017 crisis was basically a culmination of like 2 decades of neglect. And so basically the politicians should all look at themselves and be ashamed of themselves. If they want to stop fare evasion, if they want to like improve service, they should support fair fares, increase funding by 1,000 times, not kidding, and make the fare back to $2. Thank you, and we'll all see each other Wednesday for the grand finale for this round. Thanks.